So I bumped the screen, and I don't know if I can splice the videos together. Maybe this would be a part two. I was talking about petal angles and petal lengths, and so the Nikola petals are 8-inch petals. The stock petals I think were 7. S18 looks like 9-inch, and the shortest ones are the E Plus that I know of, and they're so short that they actually are uncomfortably short. And you know, just take some self-tapping screws and screw a piece of metal or plastic or aluminum or something on them. The issue with the toes hanging over, and with toes hanging over like this, right? I found if I have the right shoes, like a metal shank and boots or sneakers, that helps the command authority toward the front. The other thing about the foot selection, though, is it interacts with the pedal tilt, and and it also interacts with your endurance. So if I wear a pair of basketball sneakers with insole padding on them, my feet tend to get tired before I get home after an hour-long ride like this one might be. And this kind of sneaker with the high top, and it's just a totally flat sole, and that doesn't make my feet exhaustion. And they tend to grip pretty good on the pedals too. What else is there to say about a MSX on a 1,000 mile? Oh, the seat. So originally, I think it was Marty showed a video where he mounted a seat with hose clamps like this, with some kind of tape over it to make it look better, and then a bicycle seat spring like this one to give you a little more height. Well, I was never able to squat down to that like I can with the double seat spring. Now the double seat spring, though, I do get a little tipsiness out of the spring. So in other words, the seat can get leaning to one side or the other. And in the last 6 months since putting it in there, I've kind of learned how to handle that. So it's not I really like the height of the seat. It's just a little bit low for like a trolley handle, but it's workable. I can do like a shoulder lean like that just a little bit and reach it, and I don't use the trolley handle at all anymore. And I've been tempted a couple of times to figure out a way to turn that into a kickstand instead of a trolley handle. And there's an interesting hawk up there. So trolley handle / seat. Oh, the other thing is, how much interference do I get? Well, so the back of the seat, if you could see, this knee is like, it aligns almost perfectly to that fat spot on the seat, and it doesn't contact there unless I want it to, and it's very comfortable when it does. So something like extreme braking, where I can lean back like that onto it, it gives me a little extra confidence that I can put the command onto the wheel that I need to for the sake of stopping. Of course, when I do stop, I get, excessive stopping. I get wheel wobble like the normal stopping does for a lot of people. I find if I ease off just a little bit from the braking action and turn the wheel instead of just trying to straight up stop, it tends to work better, Hello. Hi. It's called electric unicycle. Stopping. All right, come on. Accelerating. Oh, yeah. So from the E Plus to this wheel, getting on the wheel, mounting the wheel was very hard at first. I felt like I could do my hop up on the wheel, but then to put the command into it to get moving was very hard. Eventually I learned to do more like the push, the left foot push with the right foot on the pedal to get a little motion off the starting line, and that kind of worked. And then as I got more adapted to this wheel, it eventually it's as easy to mount either wheel, and I've adapted to that completely. Although I can, say I rode with a friend I met recently in Utica, Sasha, and she still wants to hold on to get started, off the startup. And I remember I was like that for a while. I'd go out in the driveway with the dog, hold on to the car with one hand, mount the wheel, and then go, And so my impression is that's just practice and experience. And if you ride every day for an hour and a half, it adds up. If I rode every day for, oh hey, let's do a little calculation, see if I can do this in my head. So if I rode 5 days a week, right, at 20 miles a day at 20 miles an hour, so same amount of ride time basically, but more of an average commuter speed, right? So that'd be 5 days a week times 20 miles, that'd be 100 miles a week, and then it's been a couple years, so 100 miles a week times 50, so 500 miles, no, 5,000 miles a year, and so I'd be at 10,000 miles right now. I think that's probably true. Like, I think, my E Plus in the app had a number of hours, and I don't remember what I had exactly, but I'm coming to the sense here as a couple thousand hour rider that the hours are probably more important than the number of miles you got. And it would be nice if the apps out there all tracked how many miles you had. I mean, how many hours you had. Kind of like the old cars tracked, the old boats had operating time. So did a lot of the military equipment, ETA. All right, let's do a little grass here, look. Come on. So now the tricky balance is, do I push my feet back and grab it with my ankles and boy, there's some car ruts through here. So I'm taking some impacts. I don't know if you're seeing them, but boy, is this impactful grass. Ouch. Yikes. And so he's not even running right now. And if I went faster, I don't know if I could really dampen that out with just my legs. So there's a spot of grass right there that I don't think anybody else is going to ride faster than me without a suspension. And I think with a suspension I'd be able to do that at 30 miles an hour if I wanted to. I wouldn't try it over what I just did without like incrementally building it, what I just did. Alright, let's stop. I guess I'll end this video here. We're probably about 5 miles from home, and probably only 3. We've done about three already. MSX is really a fantastic, awesome wheel, especially if what you love is speed. The little bit of angle in the pedals, you get used to it. And like I was saying about all the impacts and kind of explaining why I want suspension so bad, at the same time, I guess he's done. I guess we're still going here. You learn how to handle the potholes, the bumps. You get fitness for your legs and all that. And if you really want to go, I've done 35. If you really want to go 35, you got 10 miles an hour speed margin at that point. You won't get an alarm until you go 42. And at 42, you still got another 5 mile an hour headroom there. I don't know any other wheel besides the Sherman. Any other wheels? Okay, wheels that can do 40 miles an hour include the veteran Sherman, the MSX 100 volts, and the MSS. And as for battery size versus torque and speed, this MSX has the smallest battery option, 1250 watt hours, and I've never overpowered the wheel. I've done 45-degree slopes like Wrong Way shows, although I don't have any close to me like that, and the one I did wasn't paved, and so the wheel slid out. That was before the knobby, I think. Tires. Now I think I touched on tires, but I saw a friend wipe out in basically a dirt road where there was just a puddle here, a puddle there, and she hit one that wasn't even a puddle. It was just a slippery slot of mud along the road, and you couldn't even see it coming. And she wiped out in front of me, bounced, and I collided with her wheel with my wheel. I had to jump off, and I guess she's still recovering from it. She'll be okay. And I was no worse for the wear. I put some marks on my hand pads. Okay, gear. Let's talk about gear. When I first got the wheel, I armed up. I put the knee pads on, the helmet, the wrist protectors, elbow pads, and I went for a downtown ride, hitting the potholes and learning how to deal with that. And boy, did I find the tires, not the tire, I lost my train of thought there. Gearing up. Okay, gear. Yeah. On that first ride like that, I was so impressed by how painful the potholes were. I didn't even know if I really wanted to keep riding like that, And so over time I got used to it, but speed, tires, what was I saying again? I don't know, maybe I just let it go there. A friend of mine lives up here. I met him out here on the UC. I might be able to use his hose to spray off Loki. It is kind of humid and hot. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, so I've never overpowered the wheel on the battery type, battery size. The MSX, the MSS apparently just puts a bigger battery onto the MSX. I don't know, maybe they got another controller in there for a little more speed out of it. I don't know. Alright, let's do a little technical stuff here now. So this part that's coming up, I've got like an S-turn to make through with some roots and then some sharp downhill. I'm going to move my feet back to the toe aligned position more, so I have to use more of a wheel squeeze to get authority to go forward. But I'm more concerned about being able to brake and hop off. So here comes this little section, and we go up here. I see it's wet, so I'm real glad for my tire. And now we're on the downslope, and the last time I didn't succeed at making it there without stopping because he gave me a backward yank, and I wasn't able to deal with that at the same time. This time wasn't a problem. So speed margin matters if you want to drive fast, and that's why you want the MSX. As for mud and stuff like that, you want the 241 tire for a little bit of wet in the grass, wet in the dirt. You won't slide out so easy on that. And oh look, here's a place to do a curb shot. So let's do a little curb shot, and I'll show you the impact I'm talking about. Well, that's not a curve shot. Let's keep going this way. Come on, Loki. Come on, buddy. Keep coming. All right, let's do the curb shot here. All right, so try to get this impact here. So I'm absorbing it, but you heard my feet still take it there, right? We'll probably do that one again, huh? So here comes another curb impact. I'll leave him here. All right, let me do this, Loki. All right, here we go. And boy, that's some bumpy stuff there. And then, whoa. Ah. All right. So now here's the impact point. Bam. Okay. See that? That's manageable, but it does add up. All right, we're going to cut it off here. Happy riding, everybody.